Now you're probably wondering what I'm doing in an airplane hangar looking at airplanes. And the truth is, I'm kind of wondering what I'm doing here as well.
I'm James Disciple Johnson, and I believe in old school values. I started the Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club and start biker churches across the continent, discipling men to have a daily word and prayer time and return to the old school values of honor, respect, loyalty, chivalry, and love. This is my life. These are my friends. This is old school values.
Over the years, I've had to travel a lot. It's been constant travel for me to different countries all across the USA as I've set up Disciple Christian Motorcycle Club in 30 countries and 130 cities. And the constant travel is by car, by motorcycle, by truck, by airfare, and I spend a lot on travel. And yet I am not able to get all the places that I want to go as fast as I want to get there. And what I mean is every weekend I'm doing 12-hour or 36-hour round trips and hitting different cities. And it's very hard for me to get outside of that 17-hour round trip circle. It's very hard. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. And people have kept on saying you should get an airplane. And I can't afford an airplane. It's absurd. Airplanes are expensive. Because if you have a pilot, you got to pay that pilot. But if you learn to fly for yourself, it turns out that airplanes are really cheap. And so I'm investigating a flying club near me where you pay $135 a month and it costs $100 an hour with fuel to fly their aircraft. And I can make it to places that are further away in far less time if I can learn to fly. So now you know why I'm in the hangar of an airport. Now, I've always been interested in flying ever since I was a kid, and my father brought home a computer in the late 80s, and I got to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I had so much fun learning how to control my little online airplane and talking to air traffic control through simulator software like VATSIM. And it taught me a lot about flying, but I always kind of figured it would just be a video game for me. But as I began to investigate how cheap it is to utilize a flight club that already owns airplanes to only fly yourself when you need to, I thought, well, maybe it's cost effective to go get a pilot's license. And so I'm investing about $6,000 on a credit card to make that happen. So the first step was to get a private pilot's certificate, and you have to go through something called ground school. So it's about 35 hours of training with videos and tests that you have to take. And so I was able to do this here at the Couchcaster 1000 where I sit on my iPad. I watch the videos, take the test, a lot of simple memorization, and get ready to go take an FAA private pilot certificate test. And there's a trick to this because the flight school I found at the nearby airport, which is a fairly small operation, told me that my $450 for ground school would be refunded to me if I finished within 30 days and I got above 90% on the FAA test. I would be recredited the $450. So you can't challenge me like that. I don't think they expected to see me study quite that hard. But in 7 days, I was able to report ready to take the test. And they put me through some tests. I stayed up all night studying sometimes, but I finished my 35 hours of training that usually takes people a month in about 7 days. And I started taking practice tests and getting 95, 98. I got an 85 on one of the practice tests. I went back and studied the videos some more, spent some time, but there was no way that I wasn't going to get my 90 within 30 days. I had to purchase some airplane-related stuff. There's something called an E6B that appears to be alien technology to me. If you know what it is, you know what I mean. I had to take a lot of notes and do a lot of studying. And so I began keeping track of everything I was doing, and the school seemed to be happy with what I was doing. It's a self-study program. You do it at home. You call them if you have questions. Today, I'm headed to take my first proctored exam, which is an exam where somebody's watching you, and I've got to take this ground school FAA exam later this week. So this is my first official practice exam. So far, I've always gotten an 85 or higher, but generally I'm at a 95, and I have to get a 90 to get my money back in free flight hours. So we'll see if that happens. Now a 70 passes the exam with the FAA. So I've always passed the exam, but a 90, the way this 501c3 works that I'm learning my flight training from, if you get a 90 or higher, they credit the $450 that I spent because of a special promotion as flight hours, and that's 3 hours of flying. So I'm definitely going to try to get higher than 90%. It's early in the morning on a Monday morning. It's a completely overcast day. There's not going to be any flying today because the weather is terrible. Now the progress for me is simple. You got to take ground school. Ground school, you got to pass the FAA written exam, 60 questions with 70% or better. And then on top of that, you got to get a medical certificate, which is easy to do and costs a couple $100. And then I can start flying. And I've got to do at least 40 hours of instruction, although they say it will take 50. And that's 25 2-hour flights, during which you're landing like 10 times. You're just doing touch and goes at an airport, a lot of that. And some cross-country solo stuff. Probably after 15 to 20 hours, halfway through the training, is when they set you free to fly solo by yourself. And that's gonna be scary. This is a 501c3 flight school. It's actually a Christian sort of based charity. I really like the people that are here. They're very informative. They teach me a lot, and they've got some great airplanes as well. I want to fly an airplane quite like this one. This is a Piper Cherokee 6 with a 300 motor. These are the Cessna 172s that I will be learning on. After I passed the exam practice test at the flight school, they gave me a pilot's logbook. And I got my first official endorsement that I had passed the ground school training, and I was ready to take the FAA private pilot certificate written test.
Well, I am officially a student pilot. I have my student pilot logbook here. Well, this is the logbook that'll follow me the rest of my born days. And I've got my first certification in here, ready to go take my pilot's ground school test. I'm good to fly. I can fly. I've got some of the tools I need to put in the bag. Got my notebook you have to have, and here we go. It's official.
Today, I'm headed out to St. Augustine, Northeast Florida Regional Airport to take the FAA private pilot's certificate exam. And if everything works out today, I'm going to pass the test, and I'm going to go back to my flight school, and they're going to put some little black shoulder boards on my shoulder that mean I'm officially a student pilot. I passed the exam with a 95, and this flight school gave me some shoulder boards with one stripe. It's official. I'm an FAA certified student pilot. These will go on my shoulder. Right now I'm at the bank getting the document notarized that will allow me to go back. As I'm going through this whole process and spending money, I'm kind of wondering what I'm doing. I mean, it will be easier for me and the family to travel and for me to take some disciples with me when I go on the road, but it's going to be a lot. This is a great school. They do their own maintenance. I'm getting to learn a lot about the ins and outs of airplanes. It's it's quite a process. I'm actually quite terrified because I've never been in a small plane before. And so learning all this stuff is helping me to have more confidence. But hey, 0 people have crashed and died at this flight school, so I think I'll be in good hands. Speaking of that, I have a flight instructor. This is Jacob. He's a really cool guy. He's young, but he's been through the Embry-Riddle School of Aeronautic Technology. He's a certified flight instructor, and he certainly seems to know what he's doing.
Also going to want to check on the bottom here.
Today's lesson is the pre-flight inspection and all the bolts that hold the wings on that I have to check. Here's another student taxiing in after their successful training flight. I also learned a valuable lesson that every flight school is different, and this flight school does not feel that I have earned my single stripe on my pilot's uniform shoulder boards, and so I've just got some blank shoulder boards, which I totally respect the old school way of doing things. It's kind of like how you wouldn't bring another dojo's uniform into a new martial arts training place. Today's lesson at the flight table is what runways we'll be taking off from. We're getting ready for tomorrow's lesson, which will be my first ever flight in a small airplane. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before. I've seen that they bounce around and it's really crazy. And I really am questioning my life choices at this point. I feel like the Lord's telling me to do this, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. As I'm contemplating my first flight tomorrow, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I love learning new things, and this is definitely breaking me out of some depression I've had recently. So this morning, I'm here early. It's an empty parking lot as usual. I showed up early because that's what I do, and we're going to take our first flight today here at Flagler Executive Airport. And I got to see baby James this morning. And tell him what I want to do if I never see him again. Which is be a good boy. Be a good boy. So we'll tell you in a couple hours how this went. As the hangar door opens for our sunrise departure, I can tell you I've never been so nervous. This seems like a crazy idea, climbing in this 45-year-old aircraft to fly out over the ocean. I'm getting ready for it. I don't know what to expect at all. For our plane today, you gotta grab the red clipboard. And then don't bang into the propeller when you walk by. And watch your head. What's that?
You guys checked out on FSP?
I do not. Let's do that.
Remember that? Yeah.
We're going to check ourselves out on FSP. And this is my flight instructor. Introduce yourself.
My name's Jacob. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be good times. Lesson 1 today.
First
Getting
flight.
after it.
All right. How many people have crashed and died under your instruction?
0. I plan to make it keep it that way.
As confident as Jacob is as we go through the pre-flight, I'm getting more and more terrified.
Right there.
I'm never scared of anything, but this is definitely something new and different, and it's going to be a challenge.
5 is bare minimums. So what we'll probably actually do is add half a quart.
Okay. Well, we just got back here from our first flight, and it was awesome.
Oh yeah.
And terrifying and exhilarating, and it's beautiful. It's an incredible day here in Central Florida on the coast, and woo! Oh my goodness, that was so much fun. I can't wait for tomorrow's flight at 6:30 a.m. I hope you've enjoyed watching. From here in Daytona Beach, Florida, I'm James Disciple Johnson, reminding you that God's got good things coming to you. There's good things coming in your life. Keep on following him and doing the right thing, and he will guide you in the best path for you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you see all the awesome free content we put out by rotating your device and clicking the red icon to follow our channel. God bless you. Thanks for watching.